All right, welcome back to Newsroom Africa, channel 405, as we get into the final stretch of this morning's show. If you've just tuned in, well, you've made it in time for our last conversation of the morning. Now, as part of Youth Month the Sowetan, in partnership with global streaming service Netflix, they've come together to honor pop and youth culture in South Africa. The campaign takes a trip down memory lane to zoom in on the latest the 40 hottest pop culture icon that have captured the zeitgeist over the past 4 decades. The newspaper, working with veteran Lesley, Mofokeng and Sifiso Khanyile, selected some of their most iconic photographs from their library and recreated those images using the young stars of Netflix shows Blood and Water, Jiva and How to Ruin Christmas, The Wedding. Now, to tell us more about this campaign, we are joined by cultural reporter, the Sowetan, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, thank you so much for your time this morning. Just give us a brief overview as to the campaign and the importance of it.
Yes. So Sowetan turned 40 this year in February. And as part of the celebration, we are staging an epic 4-week celebration this month and leading into July. So we have partnered with our friends at Netflix to showcase and really celebrate the 4 decades in entertainment. So what has happened is that we have looked into our archives with the help of Lesley Mofokeng and Sifiso Khanyile, as we have mentioned, and we have come up with 12 great images that the young cast of Netflix have recreated.
Now, tell us about those images. Who do they include, especially some of our favorite artists of the last 40 years?
Yes. So we launched yesterday, and we started with the 80s. So in the 80s, we have the iconic Thembi Nyandeni. A lot of people know her as Mkabayi from Isibaya. So we are looking at her when she was a dancer. And she has been recreated by Jiva star Sneh Mbata, and then we also have Zuluka, who has been recreated by the cast of the 2 gentlemen, one from Jiva and the other one from Blood and Water. We also have an iconic image of Yvonne Chaka Chaka and Brenda Fassie, recreated by Nokolo Dlamini from Jiva and Khosingema from Blood and Water. And the last image is recreated by 5 cast members from various Netflix shows and is of Harare.
Now, I mean, some of these cast members and individuals recreating these images are recreating images older than them. Are they given some form of history lesson as to the importance of these images in South African pop culture?
Listen, we've been working on this campaign for 6 months. So we gave them a brief, so the researchers helped them, Lesley Mofokeng and Sifiso Khanyile, briefing them on, the importance of this moment, this historic anniversary. So they were very much prepared. They researched, they were in character. It was just incredible to watch when we were on set.
How much directing goes into the recreation of these images? Of course, now we've got the benefit of HD, 4K, Ultra HD, whatever the case might be, so they look a lot better, but we're obviously trying to recreate the images as close as possible to the original.
Yes, so we worked with 4 guest photographers, actually. So as Kuem Mhlambi captured the 80s, Newo Ntuma is going to capture the 90s on Friday. Then we have Austin Malema capturing the 2000s, and we have Themba Mbuyiseni, who will be capturing the 2010s. And we also have guest writers actually writing about what was happening in this moment. So, for example, in the 1980s, we had Vusmus Phakathi and Sam Mate, who captured the zeitgeist. Next week, we've got Lesley Mofokeng. And then the week after that, we've got Karabole Dwaba and Lundube Domo. And then we closed with myself in the 2000s. The 2010s. Sorry.
And now, in terms of the viewing, where can we find these recreated images? I mean, a few have been rolling across the screen, and they look impressive. But we'd like to see more of them.
Yes. So the biggest question, actually, that has come is that is this a documentary that's on Netflix? No. Everything is unfolding on the Sowetan website. It's also unfolding on our various social media platforms, the Netflix social media platforms. And of course, every Friday they debut exclusively in Sowetan Timeout.
All right, that, well, we'll be looking forward to that, and we'll obviously be keeping an eye on all of those social media platforms. I thank you so much for your time, Emmanuel, this morning. It's an absolute fantastic initiative that you guys are embarking on, recreating the last 40 decades of pop culture in South Africa. That is Emmanuel and Jiva, who is, of course, part of the Sowetan. What a phenomenal experience, actually, it must be to just see some of those images, and imagine just being, you know, some of the people within those images. It must have been such a fantastic thing to see, and it's good that we find different ways to pay homage to our legends in South Africa, especially those that are still alive and can still smell the flowers.
Absolutely. I mean, just imagine what it feels like to look back to an iconic picture of yourself, like 40 years later. I mean, that must be amazing to know that it was captured and you were younger at some stage, and now reflecting on who you are today. I think it's an amazing initiative.
Absolutely. I mean, 40 years later, I hope to look as good as some of these pictures.
I thought you were going to say something else.
No, I'll keep that to myself. Right. So, of course, South Africans will have until the end of the month to comment on the Amendment Act of the amendments to the Marriage Act. This is after the Home Affairs gazetted a new green paper for marriages. We will have a special play out regarding this at 10:15. Bafedi Lemoran is also covering a story that is similar to this. Of course, she is in the Northwest, and she will also be dipping in and out throughout the day, just giving us the latest of what's coming out of Mofokeng.